have another story that I feel like some of you guys can relate to. So my stomach hasn't been feeling well, and especially I'm in Italy right now. I'm Asian, I'm lactose intolerant, so you get the picture. So my stomach has been hurting, and I told my partner last night that my stomach was hurting, and before I could wake up this morning, he had already told his parents, and that made me feel so crazy. Like, it made me feel like, you know, I had wished that my partner touched base with me before he talked to his parents, before they make it a big deal. I didn't want to offend them. Like, I was afraid that it was going to be misinterpreted as me being like, I'm ungrateful for the type of food that they've been giving me. I was afraid of, I don't know how their relatives would react about that. And I just like automatically assumed that everyone was going to view me as problematic. And I think that that comes from the fact that I grew up in a really toxic family household where no matter how well I did, because I was this like perfect kid, I was always the scapegoat for things. And I also was the one to like speak up more, like, hey, this is wrong, hey, this is weird, and then I would be judged and I would be ridiculed for it. And it made me realize that I was like, I immediately went into fight or flight when I found out that my partner had already told his parents. To him, it's like super simple. Someone has a stomach ache. They need, I don't know, like something to help their digestion. That's not a problem. No one's gonna take it any which way. But for me, I was like, oh my God, I wish you touched base with me first. Then I could be the one to do it. Then, you know, you and I can talk first before we do anything. And I kind of like freaked out. And I realized that it comes from the fact that in my household, I was never 100% free to articulate things. Even when I did, I would be judged for it, and I would be painted as someone who was problematic. I would be painted as someone who needed too much, who complicated things, and that shows up in these little ways where I feel I feel an incredible desire to like control the narrative of something, and or I have so many memories of me saying one thing and it being completely misinterpreted as an offensive thing because I was afraid that it would come off as like I was ungrateful for their food, you know? And I realized that it really comes from how unstable things were when I was a child, and like I was able to come out of that. I was able to talk to them and accept their support and love and get some, you know, stuff for my stomach. But I don't know if you guys can relate.